by the time I swam my first Alcatraz, January 1st, it was like, wasn't that big a deal, to swim in Alcatraz.
Wow.
And when I joined the club, I thought, well, I want to join I want to swim in Alcatraz. I want to swim a Golden Gate. Actually, I made a conscious decision not to be mediocre anymore.
Wow.
The power of Jim.
Hi, we want to welcome you here for a very special episode of The Power of Jim. We have something really spectacular that we're going to be talking about, and that's facing your fears. I am Jim T. Chong, the Walkstar, and I am with
Jim Meyer from Remax Gold, and we are extremely happy to bring on our good buddy, Tom Linthicum. Tom, tell us what we're going to talk about today.
Well, we're going to talk about overcoming your fears, making a decision not to be mediocre, and do what you dream.
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to challenge everyone for this special edition. I got a good backdrop I'd like to share with people. All right, Jim?
Yes,
just to show how fearless we are. Okay. Look at this. I'm amongst sharks, and I don't really even care. All right. So that's how exciting. That's how exciting. You have really inspired me to be amongst these great fish, right?
And actually, sounding good. I would think there'd be a lot of bubbles and stuff.
But actually, I think the sharks have more to fear for us Asians because we eat almost anything. But anyway, we don't have to get into that right now. But anyway, we really have some great things to focus on, and just all of us, even during this pandemic, there's a lot of things that are going on. And, I hope that we're able to find ourselves at peace, just really calm. But I know that in life in general, sometimes we face fears. And so we're going to be talking about something that can really inspire you to overcome your fear through the example of Tom here. And, one thing I'm really afraid is if I have to say your last name, because I only have a one-syllable last name. And so how do you pronounce your last name again? Linthicum?
Linthicum, yes.
Linthicum. Okay. I think I almost got that right. All right. Don't ship me back. I think I'll get it. But anyway, I'm really excited. And one thing I wanted to ask you, you've done some really fantastic things. One is that you stayed a friend of Jim Meyer for many years. That in of itself is very courageous.
It's one of my greatest accomplishments.
I know. I'm going to put that down here. But in terms of facing your fears, you've done some pretty extraordinary things. Can you go ahead and just share with us some of the things that you've accomplished?
Well, after joining the South End, talking about my swimming, swam the Alcatraz and then the Golden Gate. And my friend said something about the 9th of February being the coldest day of the year in the Bay. And I thought, well, if I could do something extreme on the coldest day of the year, then maybe I could just about do anything. So I set a goal. I want to do a round trip Alcatraz that day. And I only swam Alcatraz once with the group, with the whole club on the New Year's Day, which went flawless. But I had only trained about an hour in the cold. And I used to get the claw after about an hour, my hand would just sort of stop working, just sort of, you swimming along and you're about like that. We call that the claw. And so I was a little bit nervous. I said, well, I set this goal up and my friend is called the Tide. I've lined up a pilot, everything else. And I'm wondering if I'm going to make it through this swim. I've got to go all the way out around Alcatraz and come back. About the coldest day of the year, not necessarily the coldest. So it had been overcast, been raining a lot around then. Anyway, I set out, jumped about 6:30 in the morning, did the swim, and I made it. But it took me almost 3 hours to do the swim, and I got caught in the current.
3 hours?
Yeah, I got caught in the current, and I got pushed over to Fort Mason, and I was just sitting there sort of on hold for a while, and finally made it in. And the sun, it was all sunny when I finished. Luckily it was a nice day, so I didn't have the rain to contend with. So I found I was able to do that, and then it inspired me to do more long swims. And I had another idea the first year to swim from Alameda to the aquatic park. and I swam that one. And in fact, Jim helped me on one of them from Jack London Square to the aquatic park.
Mhm.
And
I was in the, where was it, the little Zodiac boat?
yeah, Jim was soaking wet and
Yeah.
been in the
I'll
boat for about
forgive you,
4 hours.
Yeah, what
You
was
know,
I throwing Snickers bars to you, or something like that, taking videos, and then you got on the news that night too, right?
Yeah, they put me on the news, so it was kind of fun, you know. And I found something I really loved. And in a lot of ways, like when I first was thinking about joining, there was another club called the Dolphin Club, and I checked with them to see about joining their club. And they said, well, to do an Alcatraz, you've got to do the dishes for about 6 months. You got to scrub the floors. You got to do this and that.
wow.
I decided, you know, that sounds like kind of like a lot of work. That to me is a very horrible thing to have
Sounds
to do.
like work at all.
So-
Yeah.
But the South End, I said, what about Alcatraz? And they said, you want to do a boring swim, go ahead and do an Alcatraz. The guys at the South End. So I thought, well, this is the kind of club I really like. Plus the Dolphin Club, they like to read the Wall Street Journal too much. And I could never really, they really weren't that talkative. But the South End was really friendly. And just kidding aside, I really liked a lot of my friends at the Dolphin Club, but we kid each other a lot, and it's kind of a rival clubs.
And in
But-
case anyone doesn't know, these clubs are right down there on Fisherman's Wharf, correct?
Yeah.
And
Now,
yeah.
yeah, a question I have, near, just swimming that, there are sharks, there are things that I don't think many people want to face in the water per se, right? Did that, I mean, it's pretty outside just facing the cold. I would think that you'd have to be concerned about things like these right here,
Yeah. Every once in a while, I'd have a nightmare that I'm going to get eaten up, something like that. And just in the morning, sometimes you really literally confront your fear. Stand at Yacht Harbor, winds blowing. Maybe sometimes Bob Roper would be out there. Would be like 50-mile-an-hour winds, white caps everywhere. We'd still be swimming. I'd be nervous, scared.
Mhm.
But and I still get a little nervous before I jump, especially swim out there.
Mhm.
But it's neat to, and I have to, and in my mind I feel safe. I get myself psyched, and I just think, and it's more likely you're going to get either hit by a boat. So that's one thing we really watch out.
All
And
right.
that's
Well, you can hear those coming though, right?
Right, and that's
That's
something
right,
we're
your pilot
better
boat,
at that
right?
now. We have
Yeah.
motor boats and stuff that really protect. We're a little safer now than we
Yeah.
were in the early days.
Right.
But it's more likely you get bit by sea lion or something like that. And some of my
Oh,
friends-
okay. So if the sharks don't get you, the sea lions will.
The sea lions, they have
That's pretty
sharp
good.
teeth.
Yeah.
They've, they could cause serious injury, and you could be killed from a sea lion. If they
That-
wanted to, they could kill you.
Now, would a sea lion actually go after humans?
Oh yeah, there's in South End at the aquatic park. Sometimes it gets on the news. There's a slew of bitings, but we just keep swimming anyway. And,
Wow.
and
But that's
something-
weird that Steven Spielberg has not made a movie about that yet.
Yeah. The sea lion.
Texas, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Tom, what made you want to start this in the first place?
Good question.
just getting outside and meeting some people who are a little more creative and doing things that they wanted to do. And to me, I was kind of felt constricted in a lot of ways, trying to fit the form, real estate, big office, and it just didn't. I could never really find myself to be inside too long. I never even now I'm still in real estate. I have a day job. I don't stay inside that long. I'm never in one house too long. You just don't really want. I'm not an office worker. I can't do that. So then I decided, I went on a camping trip, and I decided I was coming down the mountain. I decided I was not going to have a mediocre life anymore. And I'd already been to the club on and off for a couple of years. I decided that, no, I'm going to go join that club, and I'm going to do what I want to do. And then it changed my life, and ended up going to Lake Tahoe. And that's how I got started and swam. Somehow I got bumped off a team. I was going to do a relay team doing the width of Tahoe, and the team somehow, I didn't know these guys that well, and I called them up about 2 weeks before the swim, and I said, "Hey, I haven't heard anything. When are we gonna get together for the swim? What are the details?" And they said, "Oh, we've replaced you." So what do you mean you replaced me? So I was kind of irritated with that, and I thought, well, you know what? I'm not going to do a relay anyway. That's just an easy way to do the swim. I want to swim the solo. I want to do the whole 9 miles. In that particular route's about 9-10 miles. So I did it. The
I
solo.
gotta tell my assistant that I'm doing the show. Hey, I'm doing a show right now.
Yeah, well, there we go.
Huh?
Well, hey, since everyone's taking a break,
Watch it on Facebook.
I might as well take mine too. I'll be
Hey,
right
you
back.
found something.
Just kidding. That is what I fear is running out of this. I mean,
Oh.
that's why I always have this.
All
Yeah.
right. Who is this interloper here?
Yes.
That's Ivy.
Hi, Ivy. How are you?
This is my granddaughter. Yeah.
Great. Wow. Well, it's great being over there. So he's a brave grandfather, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yep. So that's really good. So Ivy, are you having a good time over there?
Yes.
Okay, great.
How long, Ivy? How long are you gonna stay at Grandpa's house?
I do not know.
Great. Well,
Okay.
it's nice meeting you, Ivy. This is really good. We're talking about swimming in really cold water. Your grandpa's gonna take on buying you a Lamborghini and seeing if he can afford it. Hey, I'm trying to do you a favor there, all right?
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Problem.
No, but we are talking about facing our fears and just being able to swim, around Alcatraz and just choosing to do some things and just in terms of this whole concept, Jim, of just really doing something you've never done before to be able to overcome a fear.
Well, yeah, because people like Tom and I, we sell for a living, and we're always talking to people. We get a lot of rejection, and sometimes we can get fearful of picking up that phone, talking to a stranger, knocking on doors, etc. But if you do something like Tom does, and you swim to and from Alcatraz, then picking up the phone and calling a stranger and ask them, hey, can I help you sell your $10 million house? It's not that difficult because you've just gone through something much, much more horrendous. But I wanted to say, Tom, you were going to do the width of Lake Tahoe, but you actually swam the length of it too, didn't you?
Yeah, I swam. So after I did the width, the first thing I thought of when I got up out of the water was, I want to do the length now. It wasn't cold, although I did get severely sunburned. I didn't know much about sunblock back then.
Well, it hadn't been invented yet.
Yeah.
And you wear a wetsuit.
I've never worn a wetsuit in my life.
Okay, and why is that?
I don't care to. Just, to me, it's opposite of what I'm wanting. I want to feel free. I want to go in water and feel the water.
Okay, wait a minute. How free are you trying to feel? Are you wearing something?
Well, yeah, I usually wear a Speedo or boxers.
Okay, that's what Jim was
pretty free.
Yeah, ask him not to stand up.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next on your agenda?
Well, I'm going to be swimming Tahoe this summer, and I've got several swims lined up with some crew, some other swimmers. Yeah, this is Melody right here.
How many of these young ladies are out here today?
I'm sorry, what?
How many kids? Okay, how many grandkids do you have today?
We've got 6 of them here. This is Jack.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, Jack.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Hey, look. Hi, Jack. You get hi, Jack. Hi, Jack.
Oh, wow.
Hi, Jack. Okay, the code. All right, very good. Well, I like this. Just to really experience life, and this is kind of like what it's like during this time period. Anyway, this is during the period of the pandemic, and you get a chance to hang out with your family a little bit more, and just really evaluate certain things. And I think just your whole swim. I just have to think, you're talking about sea lions, you're talking about sharks. Have you had any creature approach you when you're swimming, or now you just haven't had that?
The only
situation.
time I've had a creature in the water
Mhm.
it was there was this little baby sea lion or seal probably was touching everybody in their feet. We were about swimming about 10 people. We were doing a regular morning swim, just a casual morning swim. And everybody's laughing, going, hey, this thing touched my feet. And I'm thinking, I feeling kind of left out. It didn't touch my feet, Finally he touched my feet, just kind of tickled.
Yeah, I
So
heard you.
he wasn't aggressive at all. It was just sort of playing with us. So, but they can dig in if they get territorial. Sometimes you might be near their feet, or who knows, maybe mating season, or they could be just sick.
Uh-huh.
So we try to respect them. What the best way I deal with them is I ignore them. Like there's one right next to me, or he's swimming right behind me, and just give them plenty of room and don't look them in the eye. And
Do they also feel like you're challenging them if you look them right in the eye?
yeah, I think so. I think you're asking for it. I remember I was over at what we call the jacuzzi, this one part of the bay, and this guy was saying, "Oh, I'm worried about that sea lion over there." I said, "Well, don't stop looking at it." He was a new swimmer. If you got to stop looking at that, don't look at him and just keep swimming. Let's go. Just follow me. And we got out of there. But he made me nervous because he was drawing attention, but the way he was acting. So if you behave wrong, you could bring on an encounter.
Yeah. Now, what is the difference between a seal and a sea lion?
Well, the sea lion's a big, about the head's about that big sometimes.
Yeah.
They usually have red, bloody teeth.
Right. But what is the difference?
I'm not a marine biologist. I don't know if I can
Oh, wow.
tell you
Okay.
right things on that.
Next time you swim, take a camera with you, Tom, and take some pictures, and then text them to Jim, and then he'll look it up and figure out what they are.
Okay, we'll do that.
Hey, Jim, do we have any comments?
I think let me check here.
Because Jim Chung has a lot of friends, a lot of followers. I don't. And they're always commenting on his wonderful picks for great.
Yeah.
Is this this international production?
Totally. It's
like all over the world.
Well, we did have it says, we have Sonny Wilson here that said, that's so awesome. What a way to push yourself to see what you are capable of, right? And I think that's really true. That's one of the comments. And I just want to ask you, in terms of this, what do you think people can learn from your experience? Like, what did you feel after you achieved what you set out to do? And a lot of people, they do face different things that they never overcome because they never really challenge it. They never make a decision to overcome it, right?
Sometimes I think that someone with little mental illness issues or depression or something like that, gee, I wish I could have gotten that person in the water. Let's say they're a kid and they go nuts with the gun or something. I just wish I had one day with them to get them out in the water and change their whole life, because it's been a great stress reliever for me. When I first joined the club, I was bankrupt. And I remember there was one point I was lucky to have $2 to get back to East Bay. And I started a little side job to get make ends meet. And but the water is a great equalizer. It doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. You could be, and we're swimming with lawyers and doctors and very successful people, but you don't, sometimes you go into some hard times and but to get in that water and the nature. The best thing I felt, remember one time I was doing a beta breaker swim from the Bay Bridge around the Ocean Beach. The water swirled me around. I was in a terrible mood. And the water swirled me around like a big vortex and whirlpool and separated me from my support kayaker. And after that, once I felt sort of almost like the hand of God touching me, I'm thinking, man, my problems are nothing compared to the power of this ocean.
Wow.
And that completely humbled me. I felt great the rest of the swim. It's like these things are our problems are so small, but we make them into something big, and that's where depression comes from.
Very cool. Well, if somebody out there is watching this and they're just and they're motivated by you, they say, yeah, I've got a lot of problems right now. I'm depressed. I want to start, and I want to go do an alcohol. I was going to say alcohol swim. A non-alcohol swim. How do you prepare? How long does it take? What do you do?
Well, if you really want to just get into the swimming and people are nervous about it, what am I going to do? How do I start swimming? Well, first of all, it's always good to just get in a pool, learn your stroke, get in there. But you don't have to be a great swimmer. A lot of these people that I swim with are not the best of swimmers. They become better and better, and then they end up achieving all kinds of great goals. But what I would do is I get in. I always tell people, just get in and then get out, whatever your tolerance level is. Keep your head up at first if you want. But the main thing is catch your breath and let the water do the work. The water is going to make your body numb, and just keep breathing and then start swimming a little bit. And then the next time, go in a little longer. But if you go in for 5 minutes and you get out, you're going to feel like $1 million all day. That just changes everything. I think we even got Jim out there once.
Yeah, talk about bad swimmers. I'm a terrible swimmer. But
Right.
Benefit.
Okay, so next time we'll get Jim Chong out there since he's already with the Sharks. But another question: you're swimming with these attorneys. Does that keep the other Sharks away?
Probably, yeah. I think so. They pretty much say, "Oh, there's just another peer out, another predator." When you're another, they don't like to eat other predators.
Exactly. Okay, so now what do you say? You have another big swim in the works coming up?
Yeah, well, there's some big plans for swims I'm supporting over the summer, and I'm more focused on that. Actually, because of the COVID-19, I was supposed to swim SCAR again this year. That's 40 miles in Arizona, Sororo, Canyon, Apache, and Roosevelt. It's a amazing swim, and my friend puts that on, and is really an amazing swim. I've been doing that every year. This is Emily, my daughter.
Hey, Emily, how you doing?
Hey, Emily, how are you doing?
Hey, good.
Hi, good seeing you.
Emily comes to all the movie events that we put on, and
That's awesome.
And she's a big fan. And next time we do a big event, Jim, you're going to send an invite to Emily. So I've met Emily how many years ago?
Probably when she's like one. So.
Yeah, since I was a baby.
Exactly. In the La Playa Desert, huh?
Yeah.
Emily's been trying to get on TV a long time, so.
Oh wow! Now you're on. This Facebook is technically you are on TV because I've got 2 TVs here, so you're on TV. So that's good. It's actually broadcasting through TV. That is awesome, man.
And we are going to put this on the YouTube channel. So briefly tell us what's the name of the YouTube channel.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Well, we're gonna get this on YouTube, Roku, and stuff as well. But just in terms of your adventure and stuff too. I mean, again, it's really great. It seems like you take it pretty nonchalantly. Well, I'll just go ahead and swim in Alcatraz. I have these seals nipping at my heels, and so what? I'm gonna swim 23 miles? You swam?
Tahoe is 21.3 miles.
21.3 miles. I can't even imagine.
Is that a round trip or is that just one way?
No, it's just a one way. Yeah, okay. But it's an epic swim. My hat's off to anybody who swims that.
How many times has that been done? Is it done a lot?
I've been taking about it. When I first did it, I was probably the first, maybe 10, 12, number 10 or number 8. I'm not sure what number I was, but there weren't very many people that had done it. Right. And now people are doing it. About 20 of us a year are doing that.
Wow.
I've been bringing some solos do the width, some people do the length, but there's another team that's been bringing people across too now. I was the only guy up there helping people get across for a while, and now we've got another boat helping too. So we've got quite a few people. Whole open water is really discovering Tahoe, and at the time it was kind of unheard of, and it was really hard to get a boat. That's why I bought my boat. I had some bad experiences with having crew that weren't quite ready for it. And I always blame myself that I didn't quite know what to get together. Now I have a GPS, and we pretty much try to stick a straight line and things like that.
That's
You
wonderful.
don't want to zigzag all over the lake all night. You can have a
Yeah.
lot of swim that way.
Yeah. Now, when you're swimming, do you have you must have a boat that's following you? Is that
Yeah,
the way?
yeah.
you do it?
That's why I got the boat, the Ghost Rider, and usually I can get someone to captain my boat to help me in my swims. Last year I did a Godfather. Two years in a row I did the Godfather swim.
And what is the Godfather swim?
The Godfather swim is from swim. I came up with my friend Al actually helped me come up with the idea, and then I said, why don't we make it from Cave Rock up to the Godfather mansion where they filmed Godfather 2, where Coppola filmed his film.
Yes.
And so they've remodeled it. It's an exclusive place, so we don't trespass there. We just come in and finish just right next to that estate, which used to be the Kaiser estate.
Right.
It's a beautiful spot. The water is really amazing up there. It's a real challenging swim, 12 miles, and it gets real windy in the afternoons up there.
Yeah. Well, I think this is very interesting, and it's great. I see a lot of the greenery there. Where are you located?
I'm up in Fairplay, California, Somerset, Fairplay. Fairplay's almost more of a ghost town, really, but it's original gold mining town, and most of the original town burned down in a fire, so it's considered Somerset technically, but it's a nice place. So we're fortunate to. I've never spent so much time on my property since this quarantine thing, so we're finding all kinds of new things up here. It's fun.
Really beautiful. Can you give us a little scan of just the area there?
Sure. And, this is where I have the reptile swim camp. That's one of my names. People have trouble with my last name.
Jim, he has these things that are like, not just, as we talk about overcoming your fear earlier, it's like, I have this reptile swim camp. Jim, I have a box of cookies, around the house. I mean, you have all these really wonderful things, It's really exciting.
Well, what Tom does is he reverts to his reptile brain to be able to become the swimmer that he is. Tom, you want to talk about your reptile brain?
Well, I think people got tired with my last name to say that.
Beautiful.
It's kind of hard to say that long Linthicum. So, it's just easier to call me Reptile. And, anyway, a friend of mine at the club.
Why not? Not Linthicum, Reptile.
I call this guy at the club, an old timer at the club, JB Sullivan, and he used to tell me, Tommy, next time you swim Tahoe, why don't you swim with your reptile brain going backwards? That way the water won't know you're sneaking up on it. And,
wow.
Funny things like that, and he'd stand like a fighter, and he'd tell me this stuff, and really cool old guy. So JB Sullivan. So I told him, I said, JB, you're the reptile master, and
right.
And I just started telling my friends in the morning, hey, you got to use reptile brain this morning when you go in. It's pretty cold.
Yeah.
I tell them about that.
Yeah.
And then somebody started laughing and said, okay, here's reptile brain again. And they call me Reptile. So it just kind of stuck. And I didn't really mind the name. So it's kind of fun. Mm. So we have some reptile art, reptile caps.
Yeah.
So someday you'll write a book on how to use the reptile brain to become successful.
Well, what I think of the reptile brain too is what he was trying to tell me, JB, is that you're using your primitive brain, the part like when you're doing an endurance sport, you really are using something very primitive in your. It goes back to the old caveman days. You're kind of accessing the same part of the brain that runs your heart, runs your breathing when you're asleep. It just it makes everything function. So when you're running a marathon, or you're swimming a marathon, you're just on automatic. You're not thinking, oh, I got to put my arms up and do that again. You're not really thinking that. That's all part of your heartbeat. That's just part of your system. You're just in a zone. Yeah. So on the boat, they could be miserable. They could be like, I wish that this swim would be done. They could be uncomfortable, but you're there in your zone. So you could be swimming 20 hours,
Yeah.
In fact, my longest one was 18 hours. 18
wow.
hours.
Now, how long do you have to rest after that?
Yeah, I took a nap after that. Yeah.
For what, a half hour? And then you go into the same swim again?
No, it
But
took,
no, but you have to train for a certain amount of period, and then you go do it, and then I mean, are you exhausted for 3 days where you can't work, or how do you survive after an 18?
well, I found that knowing what I do in Tahoe anyway, and swimming Scar has really helped me because I'm swimming in 4 days. You're swimming canyon about 10 miles. Then you're, start Sororo 10 miles and canyon 10 miles. And they get kind of colder as they go. And then you go into Apache. And then at night, you're swimming 5K at night. So every day you're going back and doing another one. And I thought, man, how do they do it? And it taught me something, about how you can really recover pretty quick. So I found in Tahoe, I can do a width and still be pretty good. I can be ready to go, but I do a length. It's a pretty long swim. It can really take a lot out of me sometimes, but if you're ready and you feed right, you don't get too much heartburn from taking the wrong feeds and stuff like that. You can recover pretty quick.
Wow.
But it can make my shoulders really sore after, it's like 60,000 strokes to get across that lake for me. Now, a fast swimmer might get over there in 40,000 strokes, but and there's swimmers. I've taken swimmers over there. One swimmer, Catherine Breed, she swam in under 9 hours, which is the world record.
Yeah.
Or, that's the record. That's the fastest swim ever in Lake Tahoe.
Well, I just think it's beautiful there. Now, as we end out here, I think there's a lot of imagery. I know you were starting to show us a little bit. Can you just show us a little bit more of the area there, the trees?
Yeah, I don't want to go too far from my network.
Right.
But
we saw the house.
Okay. There's the pond. It's a little bit muddy right now. I mean, in appearance because of the rain we had, but it brought a lot of water through. And it does get some lake weed later in the summer, but it's still pretty swimmable.
Yeah.
It's a lake. And I might take a ride up to Jenkinson Lake, something like that, and swim. And that's really nice water up there.
Right.
So I'm in the Sierra. I mean, I've got all kinds of places to swim. I could go swim in the Consumnes River.
Well, we can make it really interesting. Are we going to go hunt the 25-foot alligator that's there that might surface at some point?
Well, I did do a
Work
video.
with us here.
There's a lot of fish in there. There's some big mouth bass, but I don't think there's any alligators in there.
Oh, okay. That blew our exciting time there with the.
But we have heard that Bigfoot lives nearby.
Yes.
I'm sure Bigfoot's around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I really enjoyed, just talking with you. You seem like a really easygoing kind of guy, and I appreciate you. It doesn't seem like very many things would phase you in general, and I know, just in terms of us in life, some of us don't have a chance to really explore life as much as we would like, but also face our fears. You just chose to do something, and you seem pretty relentless, and you take things head on here, and I'm really inspired. I look forward to checking out your area at some point. Maybe I get a chance to visit up there with Jim. But Jim, any final comments here?
Yeah, no one's allowed to visit there because there's it's a secret location, and there's a lot of secretive things that happen up there. So I was allowed in once via helicopter, but I had to be blindfolded.
We'll blindfold you in Placerville, and you'll end up here.
Yeah.
And you'll be glad that you did.
Yeah,
You
guys, come up on the boat. We always like maybe come up and film a swim. Maybe we can have a live show on the swim while the swimmer's doing the swim.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
The power of swim.
The power of swim. I like that. Well, any final words from you, Tom, in terms of just things that you want? I know you love nature. You love sharing about just some of the adventures you've had. Any other final thoughts, Tom?
Yeah, no, it's fun talking about all this. And it seems like it always is just something easy to talk about. It's something I love to do. I've sort of become a little bit of a business because I help people cross Tahoe, but it's never felt like work. It's never felt like this is a job. This is, I'm responsible for the swimmer, but it's just something I'm passionate about. And I do like my real estate too, but this is a special thing to be able to help swimmers out there.
Right. It's really good. And you have seals nibbling at your toe. Look, I got a shark nibbling on my ear. It's just like, but I'm not afraid. I am not afraid. Any final thoughts here from you, Jim?
Well, I'd just like to ask, I'd like to thank Tom for being a part of this show, and I hope that people have watched it and been inspired, and if especially if you're getting depressed, being shut in for 8 weeks, it's good to listen to Tom and to realize that there are great things that you can do that have nothing to do with making money or creating more stress in your life. There are things that can relieve your stress while you face your fears and while you avoid getting killed by a shark, which I guess that could be stressful. So I would say contact our good friend Tom if you need help with that. And thank you very much.
Yeah, so we want to just mention, we know there's a lot of things happening out there. We hope that just our show was able to provide a little bit of entertainment information and just things that you might not have considered on doing before. I mean, when everything comes back, you're going to get a chance to explore different things, but I want you to be sure of one thing. Probably things have been changed for the future, and so things are probably not going to go back as much as what people might think. Explore some different things, find adventures, and face your fears as well. Try to do the impossible. This is Jim T. Chong, the Walkstar, and I'm along with
Jim Meyer from Remax Gold with our good buddy
Tom Linthicum.
It's the highest and the very best asking price. Makes a bad day great, makes a poor man rich. Power of Jim fixes almost any glitch. Ooh, got no family, got no friends. You've seen your world through a broken lens, but you're getting something great now, ready for a new kind of wow. You got the power of Jim. Starting out, you will be scared.